What is up, everyone? Today we're back at it again with another case for the Super Bowl video, this time the 49ers. So today I'm going to be going over how the 49ers can get to the Super Bowl, and also with these better teams, already with the pieces they have, why they have a good chance of going to the Super Bowl. Because each one of these teams that have these pieces, without even going and getting one, they could win the Super Bowl. So here today, I'm going to be making an argument for the 49ers. Now, just starting this off, I just want to say 49ers, yes, they lost to Forrest Buckner, but they still got a great front seven on defense. I mean, you look at Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Arik Armstead. I mean, they've got some really good players, and plus they just signed Arik Armstead to a big deal, so they're going to be expecting a lot out of him. So then you got that secondary. Yeah, Richard Sherman's aging, and yeah, you could say he's overrated, but this last year, even PFF, one of the most trusted sources, ranked him super highly, I think third overall for cornerbacks. So you can't just put that past you. Even if you don't like PFF's method, someone putting him third best means he's probably at least a top 15 cornerback, and you don't know that he's going to age that much this next year. He could definitely be the same corner he was in 2019. And, I mean, you add another cornerback there. I mean, they've got a good secondary with Jaquiski Tartt and Jimmy Ward back at the back end holding it up. Quarterback, many are going to say Jimmy Garoppolo is overrated, and I've said that in the past too, but for the sake of this video, hey, look at what he's done. He led a team to a Super Bowl in his first full year that he started. Think about that for a little bit. How many other quarterbacks did you say? Because you can't say that about Tom Brady. You can't say that about Patrick Mahomes even. So if you're making an argument for the 49ers, you got to look at it like that. Jimmy Garoppolo, whether his stats say this or not, he is a winner. He always finds a way to win games. Think about it. 49ers, they were terrible. Patriots trade him over there. They win 5 straight games to end the season. Next year, after 3 games, Jimmy Garoppolo goes down. Guess what happens? They do terrible. Next year, Jimmy Garoppolo's on the team. Guess what? They go to the Super Bowl and almost win it. And you could argue that was a result of bad play calling. That being said, I do think that Kyle Shanahan's a great coach. Robert Saleh is a great defensive coordinator. They've got a great group of coaches. Now, for other positions on the team, they've got a great 3 running backs, and I mean, possibly 4. We'll see what happens with Jerick McKinnon this next year. And so yeah, and yes, wide receiver, they did lose someone, but look, they've got the 13th overall pick. They've got a good team. Still good offensive line. Joe Staley is still holding up on the offensive line. I mean, there's not much to dislike about the team, and don't forget about George Kittle, the best or the second best tight end in the league. Now, that 13th pick overall that we talked about, let's get into that a little bit, because there's a couple of different options that they could pick here that would help their Super Bowl chances. So one option I want to look at that not many people have looked at before is the possibility that they actually take an offensive tackle to help out Joe Staley and the rest of that offensive line. And if someone like Tristan Wirfs somehow falls down, that being said, I don't think he will, but okay, let's just look at this scenario made by NFL. Their scenario is they said Joe Burrow went to the Bengals first overall, then Chase Young went down to the Redskins. Lions decide they need a cornerback, so they go for Jeff Okudah. Giants just decide to take the best player on the board instead of taking Jedrick Wills, taking Isaiah Simmons, which isn't that far of a stretch. I mean, he's like an unbelievable linebacker / safety. He can play both. Then you've got the Dolphins taking Tua, then the Chargers taking Justin Herbert, both very possible. If Derek Brown falls down to the Panthers, very likely they take him. Now, the Cardinals, this is where I think they could definitely take an offensive lineman, but the NFL has them taking Javon Kinlaw. Then you go to the Jaguars, they need a wide receiver, and if not a wide receiver, they're going to take a cornerback. So in this mock draft, they have him taking Jerry Jeudy. Then you get down to the Browns, and Andrew Thomas is the best fit for the Browns, so that's who they have him taking. Then you go down to Jets. I mean, Jedrick Wills is still on the board at this point. You got to take him. Raiders are going to take a wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, because they don't need a offensive lineman. They got Rodney Hudson and Richie Incognito. So then you get down to the 49ers. Tristan Wirfs is still on the board. No, I know that this is just one mock draft out of many. It's just to put this on record, this is not my mock draft. This is NFL's mock draft, but I'm just saying this scenario could happen. Like there are some unsuspected things that happen in every draft. This could happen. If they go down, if they get Tristan Wirfs, that's a huge add to that offensive line and the offense as a whole. Like the team as a whole, that's just a great pickup. Super athletic offensive tackle. Now, another possibility in this is that they could take, so let's say in this same scenario, CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy are already taken. Now, at this point, they could take a cornerback even. I mean, if you think about it, Richard Sherman, after that, they don't have great cornerbacks, but that's not who I would go. They could go, I've never liked him that much as wide receiver, but just to get another speedy receiver to pair up with already Marquise Goodwin, Deebo Samuel, they've already got fast wide receivers, but pair that up with Henry Ruggs, I don't know. I mean, I haven't thought the highest of Henry Ruggs. I think there's a very good chance that he could be a bust, but I've said before, if he's in the right system, he's one of those players like Tyreek Hill that if he gets put in the right system where they can use his speed, then his speed is a huge advantage over other teams. So I'm thinking if he goes to 49ers, that could be a deadly receiver. Like then you pair with George Kittle. I mean, they're already trying to like double cover George Kittle. And you got Henry Ruggs maybe on a 1-on-1 with a corner on the outside. I mean, that might just be the perfect fit for him. So then another possibility for them is maybe, I mean, I know this sounds a little weird because it's not their need, but maybe they do pick a guy that can play on the line like Clavon Chasen. Now, I would not do this. Don't get me wrong. Like, don't quote me wrongly, and this is not what I would do. I think it would be a poor move, but we've seen the 49ers. They just want to beef up their D-line. So maybe that's what they're doing. They're just trying to get younger and younger at the position. So we'll see there. Definitely a lot of options, and I think Tristan Wirfs, let's say for this hypothetical, they go and get Tristan Wirfs, because that's a huge add if they get him. Now, don't forget, the 49ers, they do have that early pick, but they also do have one at number 31. And in this draft, in a lot of draft classes, a late first round is a lot of times a bust. But for this draft class, there's a lot of options down there. Now, I've seen mock drafts having them take Grant Delpit. I've seen mock drafts having them take Jonathan Taylor, which I found was a little weird. I've seen mock drafts seeing them take Yatir Gross-Matos, just taking a defensive lineman once again to replace DeForest Buckner. But what I think would really help them out is, so like I said, for this hypothetical, they have Tristan Wirfs with the first pick. Still need a wide receiver. So because that's a good idea in my opinion. They take the offensive lineman earlier because this draft class is loaded in wide receiver, so they can get someone in the later first round. So who are they going to take? They're going to go out and take Denzel Mims, who for this hypothetical falls this far. I think it's very possible that Denzel Mims could fall this far. It's also very possible he gets taken before this, but he could very possibly fall to this point. And this is a hypothetical, remember that. So they go out, get Denzel Mims, the receiving core now. You got a speedy Marquise Goodwin that's hopefully healthy this next year. Kendrick Bourne was good in the end zone. Deebo Samuel emerged. And then you get Denzel Mims already having George Kittle at tight end. I mean, it could be a very underrated receiving core going into next year. Now, the 49ers, they did give up their second round pick for this year, so they do not have one. But, that's not too big of a deal because, I mean, look at what they have now. They have a couple good safeties, good corners. We got them an offensive lineman. They already have a decent offensive line. We got them a wide receiver. Now, I mean, what do they really need? So the thing is, I'm thinking maybe third round, they go and just get a depth piece, possibly tight end. I mean, they don't need depth at wide receiver. They just need a wide receiver one because, I mean, they have a bunch of depth receivers. So I don't think they want to go out and get another receiver. But possibly a linebacker to help out Dre Greenlaw, Quan Alexander, and Fred Warner, just, back them up. Or they could, like I said, back up the tight ends since they don't really have anywhere. I mean, they have Ross Dwelley, but he wasn't very good. So, maybe they get another guy on defensive line just to kind of back them up. That actually wouldn't be a bad move in my hypothetical where they take a offensive tackle and then a wide receiver in the first round. Wouldn't be surprised to see them take another D-line because they like substituting in and out. And yeah, I mean, I think at that point their team is pretty solid. And let's be honest, they went to the Super Bowl last year. Why can't they do it again this year? you can say they're overrated all you want. And, like I said, I've been one of those people to say it, but for this, they still went 13-3 and went to the Super Bowl. You can't just take that away from them. They did that. So, yeah. Well, that is it for today's episode of Case for the Super Bowl. This one was fun doing, just taking an already great team and just seeing what they could do with their draft picks, not even doing any free agency moves because they already have a pretty solid team. I think that this might actually be a pretty accurate depiction of what they will do because, not every team is making a bunch of free agent moves, only the teams that really need those players. So I think that this is all stuff that could really happen, and I think the 49ers are a serious Super Bowl contender. You can say they're all overrated all you want. I've been one of those people, like I said, but at the end of the day, they've still got a good team. Call them overrated, still top 5. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and next episode will be on the Packers.